Today we are on Devils in the Details talking about something very exciting that has not only a long history, but a very exciting future in front of it, and that is the Rio Reimagined project. Joining me today, I have two of our Valley mayors, Mayor Corey Woods from the city of Tempe. Thank you, Mayor Woods, for joining us, and Mayor Kate Gallego from the city of Phoenix. I also have Melissa McCann with the University City Exchange Program. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us to talk about Rio Reimagined. So an exciting thing about Rio Reimagined that I think really sort of runs through the narrative of this is that it is truly a valley-wide project. It runs through 6 cities and 2 tribal communities. Each one of you has been intimately involved with part of Rio Reimagined. Melissa, if it's okay to you as our local subject matter expert on this, if you could just give me a little bit of history on Rio Reimagined and where it is right now in 2020.
Sure. Well, thank you, Annie. Thank you for having me, mayors. Very nice to join you. So the role of ASU to date and historically was that in the 60s, Dean Elmore from the design school had led a design competition of sorts, a studio to create a vision for the river. That actually, fast forward to a number of years, led the cities of Phoenix and Tempe to create some of the most pivotal projects along the Salt and Gila River corridor, that being the Phoenix Habitat Restoration Project and also Tempe Town Lake, that is very well known to everyone. So today we had the good fortune of working with the late Senator John McCain, who asked Dr. Crow to actually convene and facilitate all of the communities along the river and actually catalyze or recatalyze where we left off with the good work along the river corridor. And so ASU is playing a role of being sort of a research expertise, providing organizational resources to the river stakeholders, and thinking about sort of this strategic comprehensive role that the river plays across the metro region.
It really has transformed the valley. Mayor Woods, if you would, as a longtime Tempe resident, can you talk to me a little bit about the Tempe Town Lake project and what that has meant and sort of what you see for the future of Tempe and Tempe Town Lake?
Absolutely, and I just really appreciate the opportunity to be here today. There's so much that Tempe Town Lake and Beach Park does for not only our community, but frankly, the entire region. First and foremost, you've got something that used to be a dry riverbed that now is a huge hub for jobs, housing, which really has helped to sort of activate that space in a very meaningful way. For a lot of people who've been in Tempe for 30, 40, 50 years, they'll talk about how they remember when there was simply nothing out there and there were really no plans for it. And so the fact that we now have housing along the lake, we've got industries that seek out the city of Tempe because they want to be in that particular space, that's obviously huge for us. I think the other thing is too, just from the pride that people have in terms of they can use it for going to work out on a Saturday or Sunday morning and taking a light jog or doing some other form of exercise, walking their dogs along the lake. You see that on a very constant, consistent basis. And so it's a huge resource, and it's the second most visited tourist attraction in the state, only second to the Grand Canyon.
Mayor Gallego, you have made Rio Reimagined a real focal piece of your time in mayor and of your upcoming full term as mayor. And you have some really exciting projects going down, particularly in South Phoenix. Can you talk to me a little bit about A, why you're interested in the project, and B, some of the interesting things Phoenix is working on in this area?
Absolutely. As Melissa and Mayor Woods have said, this river is our history and it is our future. Phoenix would not be here without the river and the canals, originally from the Hohokam, later the Salt River Project, that helped water flow to our community. So there's something about water in the desert that inspires people, and this river is a prime example of that. We are excited about it being an important part of our future, and we are investing in the ecosystem. One of the favorite places is the Tres Rios wetlands, more than 150 species. There's also the Audubon Society has a great facility along there, and we have several other City of Phoenix parks, one of which is home to several turtles that are particularly beloved among the younger Gallego in my household. He always wants to spot the turtle. So a neat ecosystem, but it's also a huge economic engine. The City of Phoenix just unanimously approved a deal with Arizona Fresh, which will include a food incubation center, food production, a park, walkable pathways. So it's a $848 million economic impact. Thanks to the leadership of Senator McCain, Congressman Ed Pastor, and others, there's just a really unique combination coming together along the river. We have multiple cities, 2 tribes, all working together to create something even more inspiring, but also celebrate the amazing roots that really helped all of our communities thrive and even just come to be.
Melissa, can you talk me through a little bit about how ASU is helping in not only bringing those communities together, but also threading the needle about making sure that we are respecting the environment as well as pushing forward exciting economic development opportunities?
Sure. So, as we have continued to sort of state, the Rio Reimagined initiative really belongs to all of the river communities, and they will determine the scope, the deliverables, the real promise of what future revitalization looks like within each of their own communities. This initiative aspires to think about ways in which both environmental, social, and economic sort of vitality can be brought back to these communities. It also seeks to reconnect the communities that have historically perhaps been disconnected from the river or disconnected with their associate neighborhoods and communities. One of the aspects that we have been pursuing has been this designation through the Urban Waters Federal Partnership, which focuses on all of those aspects of revitalization.
Mayor Gallego, I believe that the Secretary of the Department of Interior was recently in Phoenix for this federal designation. Can you talk to me a little bit about how that came to be? And also would love to get your feedback on sort of the communities, particularly in the South Phoenix that sit on this river, really what their role is going to be in this, what you see it to be as this moves forward.
The federal government has been very interested in this project. The federal urban waters designation is very helpful in bringing together multiple cabinet agencies to provide support for us. So it's not just the Department of Interior, but EPA will be there, and they can help us with things such as brownfields grants to try to address some of the more challenging properties along the riverfront. The Department of Transportation is working closely with us. We hope to get some federal support for our ecosystem rehabilitation, as well as work with other departments like Housing and Urban Development to make sure we have affordable housing, which is one of the things we hear most often is a priority for the communities along this corridor.
Mayor Woods, I was hoping you could talk to me a little bit about, Tempe Town Lake to come to fruition was a long game, but it's not the end. Why do you as the mayor still have continued interest beyond just Tempe Town Lake in Rio Reimagined as a whole?
I think because whenever you're talking about a 58-mile stretch, you're talking about really connecting communities from all over the valley. And so I think you have a really interesting opportunity from a social equity standpoint, from a connectivity standpoint, to really bring people together around some shared values and shared interests and goals. We have to make sure that it's not just simply about Tempe Town Lake and frankly, a lot of the higher end housing and some of the industries that have been built over here since its inception, but really connecting the entire valley to what this entire vision surrounding Rio Reimagined looks like.
Melissa, can you talk to me a little bit about why now, why in 2020 going into 2021, do you see the conversation shifting in how communities are being brought to the table to really move this project forward, because it is a legacy project for so many?
This is an opportunity for us to all come together in a way and champion new voices in the community and diverse voices that I think have started to emerge in both City of Phoenix and City of Tempe as leaders, and very much they can provide that level of leadership that then other communities can follow. And so this is an opportunity to bring all those together.
Wonderful. Well, I know this time flew by, and considering how large this project is, we could probably have a very long conversation about it. I will say, as a Valley resident, I'm so excited to see both Mayor Gallego and Mayor Woods really at the helm of this and working with ASU to move these projects forward, because I think it will absolutely transform the Valley. Mayor Gallego, Mayor Woods, Melissa, thank you so much for joining us today to talk about this important topic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for
Yeah.
convening us.